So you've been searching for a long time, searching for some peace of mind. God is the answer, and He hears your prayers. Just come to the Father, He'll be right there. The Potter, He wants to make you whole. Just receive a word from the Potter's house.
He is truly amazing, and He's wonderful. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. I'm trying to sing something else, but I can't keep this other song out my head. So pray for me as I try to remember the words. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Just thinking about 2019. Hallelujah. And just everything. God is still here. He's able. He's been faithful. Hallelujah. When I look back over my life and I see all the things God's done for me, been through dangers, trials, and suffering, but I thank the Lord, He's rescued me. I could have been dead and gone, but the Lord, He spared my life. Now I can say that I am still here, and it's by the grace of God. When I look back over my life and I see all the things the Lord has brought me through, been through
you're hearing Ephesians chapter 3 and verse number 20. Now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power working in us. The message, and by the way, I need to let you know also, this is the message for our theme for the new year. This is our New Year message. See, the Lord gave me to minister today instead of next Sunday for New Year. But the New Year theme and the title of this message is God is giving us plenty, plenty in 2020. God is giving us plenty, plenty. That's our word for this upcoming year. This is the year of plenty, plenty in 2020. Now, just to give a little, a little information about how the Lord gave it to me. The Lord gave me that message a while back that this was the year of plenty in 2020. And then a few weeks ago, I think it was Sister Loretta, she texted me, Loretta Wilkins, she texted me and said, Pastor, Mother said, Mother just, out of the blue, just said, plenty, plenty in 2020. And I said, tell Mother she's right on target. Because that's exactly what God told me, plenty in 2020. And then the Lord began to say, I told you plenty, plenty, but I only heard the first plenty. I didn't hear the second plenty when he told me. And he used Mother Dorothy, we all know Mother, she's in her 70s, to tell Loretta, and when Loretta said it, and the Lord said, I told you plenty, plenty, not plenty in 2020, because I'm giving you double. This church is getting double what plenty is. And explain it. The first 20 in 2020 represents the 20th year in this new millennium, the year 2020, that first 20. But he said the second 20, the reason I'm giving this church a double plenty is because this represents our 20th year, the year upcoming year, where in 2020 represents our 20th year. So he said, I didn't tell you plenty in 2020, I told you plenty, plenty in 2020, twice the plenty. So we can double the plenty in 2020. And that's the way the Lord used Mother Dorothy to reiterate what he had told me in the beginning, and he explained that's what I told you in the first place. Not one plenty. And we don't want to shortchange ourselves. We accept all the plenty God gives. If you want to triple a plenty, we'll go with the triple. But he said plenty, plenty in 2020. That's what this year of 2020 is, a year of plenty, plenty in 2020. In Ephesians chapter number 3 and verse 20, the Bible says, now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above. Wow, look at that, listen to that for a minute. Exceeding, we know exceeding is a lot. That is, when you talk about exceeding, that means something that goes above and beyond what we expected. It's going to exceed. It's going to go above what your expectations are. So, he's not only able to do great things, he's able to do things even above what we can describe. But in here it says, exceeding abundantly, which is an adverb, which is going to modify the word exceeding. So he's able to do not only exceeding, to exceed our expectations and what we're expecting from him, but even abundantly on top of exceeding our expectation. Abundantly. But then if that wasn't enough, he still go higher than that, above. So we get exceeding, then we get abundantly, then he goes above all that. Even above what we ask or can even think. That means that God not only is able to do it, but this is what he said I'm going to do in this year of 2020 that's coming up. When I say this year now, I don't mean 2019, but I'm speaking in terms of in a few days when 2020 comes in. And we know that that all of that's going to correlate and correspond with some of the blessings that the Lord have already ordained for us. By this time next year, all that's going to fall into plenty and plenty. And what He's going to do above and beyond what we've even exceedingly abundantly above what we've asked. That means the things that we've asked and we've already pronounced by this time next year for September the 8th, that blessing and being debt-free and all that, and then also the blessing before our next anniversary of having our new church, building lands and property, we're going to be in that. But guess what? He said there's more that we hadn't even asked for that He's going to do. And on top of that, not only we hadn't asked for it, He said we hadn't even thought of it yet. Some of the plenty blessings that God is going to do for us is above what we've even thought of or asked for. So we know the ones that we've already asked for are coming for 2020, but He's going to do some more exceeding abundantly above blessings that we hadn't even asked for and we hadn't even thought of. That's what God is setting us up for in the year of 2020. Now, I told you one of the things, if you've been around the church for any length of time, especially if we've been saved for a number of years, it's at least 10 years or more you've been saved, you're considered a long time. You've experienced and you should understand and know that the darkest hour is always just before dawn. This year of 2019 that we're about to leave out of presented us with challenges and trials that we've never faced before. It took us through some dark places, in a sense, and through some valleys that we've never gone through before. But all of that was to set us up for what God is about to do in 2020. See, the bigger the trial, the bigger the blessing. The greater the struggle, the greater the blessing. So we should have known the whole time, which I did, whether you knew it or not, I knew that these attacks that we've had spiritually here in the year 2019 was setting us up for something amazing that's about to explode and happen for us in the year 2020. Because that's the reason the Lord allowed those things to happen. Every time you're about to have a mind-blowing blessing above and beyond what we've ever seen before, when you're in the spiritual walk with God, you're always going to have a time before that that's going to take you to the brink of what you think may be your destruction. That's going to push you to what we feel like is our limit. And that always happens when you're about to get a limitless blessing that's going to blow your mind and going to take you to a place of bliss that you've never been to before. And that's the reason these things have happened in the year of 2019. We're about to say goodbye to 2019. Part of that fulfilled what God said in the beginning of this year. Destiny and purpose revealed. Promises fulfilled. He revealed many of our destiny and purposes. Some of us already knew what that was, but those that didn't know, it had been revealed. Some of the things that you saw within yourself was that you didn't know you had the strength that was in you. Some of us thought that the things that we've gone through this year would take us out, would have taken us out, could have taken us out, but it didn't. We found out that we have more strength than we thought we knew we had. We found out that we can endure more than what we thought we knew we could endure. The very thing that looked like it was unbearable, we buried it. And we made it through. And that's what it takes to get through to the blessings of God. And God allowed those things to happen because He was setting us up for something great and mind-blowing. And we're on the verge of receiving those things. But the amazing thing about it is that some of these blessings that's going to happen under the year of plenty, is going to be things that we hadn't even consciously thought of. But when we receive these blessings, but you can rest assured, we're going to be so happy. Oh Lord, I can't believe you love me that much to give me that much. To give me that, and I didn't even ask for it. I hadn't even thought of it for me, Lord. But that's what we're about to receive. That's what we're on the verge of receiving in the year of plenty in 2020. The very things we hadn't even asked for, exceeding abundantly and above what we even asked or think or thought. Things we hadn't asked of and we hadn't thought of. Not yet. And that's some of the things that God's going to do in blowing our minds. Now let's dissect this word plenty here for a moment here. Now, the dictionary definition for the word plenty, one of the dictionary definitions I found is defined the word plenty as an abundant supply. Plenty, an abundant supply. That's not all. It's also the state of having enough and more than enough. Plenty is not just us having enough for ourselves. That's not what plenty is. Plenty does supply enough because in order for us to have more than enough, we have to first have enough. So plenty, but what plenty does, it goes above and beyond enough. It also supplies more than enough. That means plenty sets us up to have enough to share with others. More than what we need and can handle. That means we're able to bless somebody else. That means we're able to help others. That's what the year of plenty is going to be. Some of you that have said, and I've heard some testimonies of some of you that have said, and probably most of us have said, you know, one day the Lord is going to bless me and I'm going to be able to bless others. And I know you made the testimony, you've said that testimony, I've heard that. And many of us, even if we haven't said that, we've already in our hearts said that's what we're going to do. Well, you're going to get that challenge to do that. And God's going to see, are we going to be willing to help others when He blesses us? Because I believe when God brings you out, you're supposed to help somebody else come out. I believe when we get blessed, we're supposed to bless others. And I've always believed that. And I believe we're supposed to share the blessings. Well, we're about to live in the abundance. That's what plenty brings us in the abundance. An abundant supply. We're about to live in the abundance, or what some people call the overflow. The abundance. So we're going to have the plenty, which we're going to be living in the abundance. But let's see, are we going to have that same heart? I believe we will. And I'm praying we do, because it's important to understand that when God blesses us with more than enough, which is plenty, we need to release and bless others. Because it's easy to get the love of money mentality, of material things, if we don't share with others. That's why it's important to understand when we get the blessings of plenty and overflow blessings, we need to share it with others. Because God's going to bless us with more than enough. The state of having enough and more than enough. More than we need. And that's why it's important to keep that mentality to help others, because when we do that, it keeps the love of money from sinking in. Because many people get the love of money when they get abundance, when they get plenty, which is abundance. Many times the love of money can easily creep in, and that's one way to keep it out. When we can release, then that keeps us from want to herd up and get all the money and material things we want, because then you play into the flesh, and then the devil can get us entrapped with the love of money, which is the root of all evil. And that's why the Lord wanted me to stress that, because some people had never had plenty before. Some have never had, some of us perhaps have never had abundance before. And so it's going to overtake you so fast, but you have to already have this mentality that I'm not going to become a slave to my material things. But I'm going to be open and blessing other people, because that keeps me and keeps us from getting a mentality of hoarding in material things, money and all these things, houses, homes, cars and everything, and wanting to store more for us and not share with others. When we are blessed, we should share with others and bless others. Some of the synonyms for the word plenty that I found in the dictionary are abundant, ample, bountiful, and there's many more, but I only just chose these few because I didn't want to keep naming. Bountiful, generous, And that's what we want to be. Generous and liberal is another one. We want to be generous givers, liberal givers, because we're going to have the means to do so. And when God blesses us with the means to do so, we should easily be happy to do it. See somebody in need of something? Brother, what you need? Sister, what you need? Let me help you out. But since all of us don't mean abundance, I guess we have to look outside the church to try to find somebody to help. Liberal, plenteous, plentiful, wealthy, and rich. It was others, but I'm going to stop with those. Plenty puts us in states of being wealthy and even rich. Plentiful, plenteous, liberal, generous. And these are those terms, liberal and generous. We want to apply that to our state of giving. Liberal, generous givers. We want to be liberal givers and blessing to others, so that the Lord can keep blessing us, because there's a process that happens when we do that. But I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we get to 2 Corinthians, where we're going to be dealing with as a text today. Proverbs chapter 10 and 22 says, "The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he added no sorrow with it." The blessing of the Lord maketh rich, and it added no sorrow with it. In getting and becoming abundant, in getting abundance and becoming rich and wealthy in abundance that the Lord is going to do for us, His blessing is going to make us rich, and it doesn't bring any sorrows with it. When sorrows come, it's because we have the wrong mindset. When people get a lot of money and then they lose their mind, and all of a sudden they're so stressed about this and that, it's because they're trying to find a way how to not give anything out. They want to hoard everything into themselves and not share with anybody else. And then all of a sudden the money become a burden, because you want to just keep everything to yourself. We don't want to share with nobody else. We don't want to be liberal givers, because God blesses us to bless others. Yes. Bring us out, bring somebody else out. Spread the wealth around. Spread the blessings around. And here's the amazing thing about it. That's planting seeds, and we're going to get to the seed in just a minute. That's planting seed, and what happens when we plant seeds, we get harvest in the general sense. We do it in the sense of a farmer. Planting seed, there comes a harvest from the seeds that were planted. In the spiritual sense, when we give to others, we are planting seeds as well. And from those seeds, we get back harvest. God blesses us in return from those seeds. Now, let us go to 2 Corinthians chapter 9, and we're going to look at, start at verse number 5. We'll look at verse number 5. 2 Corinthians chapter number 9, and we want to begin at verse number 5. Now, the reason this particular text of Scripture, there are others, but this particular text of Scripture is very important because it teaches us how to have the right mindset about having excess or having abundance, how to be able to release it, how to be able to give it. We're not talking about giving everything away, but being able to accept big blessings from God and say, now, I'm going to bless somebody else. I'm going to bless them. And we always find somebody to bless. Believe me, you may be driving, or you may come into a store, you may be in line at a register, and someone may be purchasing groceries, and all of a sudden, they don't have enough money to pay for their groceries. And we're standing there behind them, we have the money, we can easily step in and say, excuse me, I've done this on several occasions. And I said, excuse me, I was I guess it's probably been a couple of years ago, the last time I've had this event to even occur. But it was a lady that was in line, and I was about 2 people behind her. And she didn't have enough money, and she was struggling, trying to find some money in her purse. And there was 2 other people, I think, in front of me, and I was like the 3rd person. And the lady was just really frantically, and then she started saying, well, tell her kids, just put this back. And she just started getting off the belt and putting it back. And I was looking, I'm like, these other 2 people in front of me, nobody gonna say anything. And I'm like, and I'm just going, and I was just waiting, and I just said, it's not gonna break them. And I just went around and, excuse me, can I help her? Can I help you, ma'am? I said, can I pay for this for you? I don't want anything from you, but can I just do this? I just, and she was like shocked and, okay. And I gave the lady my card at the register, and they purchased the goods, and then they left. Then I got the things, and then we proceeded on. And I don't want no accolades. I don't want you to know who I am. I don't want nothing. Because that's from God. Because when we give, I don't expect anything from you. My blessings come from God. I don't want you to say, oh, yeah, you owe me. You don't owe me nothing. The blessing comes from God. You can't bless me as much as God can. And I know we're going to be grateful, we're going to be thankful for when somebody do it, but that person don't owe us. God said when we give to others, we're giving as unto Him. Now, one of the things the Lord told me to stress in this message is about being able to give and release, because one thing God don't want to do is set us up for a fall. And that's why you have to be grounded when you get a lot of money, because if not, you can just go, your mind can go all kind of ways. And that's what this message is about. And when you can stand to help others and give to somebody else, that keeps us grounded. And not saying, I want more, I ain't thinking about them now, I want more. And you start thinking of ways, let me invest over here, let me invest in this, let me invest in that. Nothing wrong with investing, but also be able to release. Don't just get like that man with the barn that started building up, trying to, I'm going to build me more barns. Instead of, piling things up, and you let the real important things, your soul, go lacking. Because you get too caught up in material things and money. So that's the warning God wants us to stay grounded, know that it's coming, but put on the mentality that when it comes, I'm going to be grounded enough that I can handle having abundance, and not let it take over me and I become a slave to my material things or to money that leads to buying material things. Because God blesses us so that we can help and bless others as well. That is an important part of why He blesses us. The Bible says here in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, we're going to look at verse number 5. Therefore I thought it necessary to exhort the brethren that they would go before unto you and make up beforehand your bounty, whereof ye had noticed before, that the same might be ready as a matter of bounty, and not as of covetousness. Now this here was Paul, and as he sent this letter to the saints in Greece, in particular we see here the Corinthians. And Corinth was in Greece, by the way, as well. So he was talking here to the saints in Greece, and he was sending, what he was getting them to do is they had already promised to send a certain amount of money. They raised money, and they were going to send the money to Jerusalem, to the saints in Jerusalem. And so he was sending ahead of his arrival, he sent some other saints to come ahead to make sure they had the money that they had already promised to give unto the saints that was in need in Jerusalem. And so he just decided that he would go ahead and send them, and he told them, and one of the things he was trying to get them to see, that he didn't want them, as we get on into it, he didn't want them to be given because they asked. He didn't want them given and didn't want to give, and because they were grudgingly giving it. He didn't want them to be given, and mad about it, because he understands that the state in which we give is important in how God receives how we give it. Our heart plays a lot into whether God receives our giving or whether He doesn't receive our giving. We need to give it with the right spirit and the right attitude. And so he was sending ahead, trying to make sure, because the saints said that we've already raised this money, we're going to send it back to the saints in Jerusalem. And so Paul was just sending people ahead to go ahead to collect the money ahead of time, or make sure they had the money, just like they said, so that when he got there, they'll be ready to just go ahead and take up the offering, collect the offering rather, and send it back to the saints in Jerusalem. Now he says here in verse number 6, but this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully. He was giving them some instructions, telling them about the type of giver we should be. If we give a little, then we're going to receive a little. If we give a lot, we're going to receive a lot. But he wasn't trying to pressure them into giving. He was simply stating the facts of how God restores, replenishes, how he blesses us in return of our givings. And he was simply saying unto them, if you give a little, if you sow sparingly, that's giving a little, then you're going to receive a little. Because different people in the church, of course, at that time was giving different amounts, as we do all the time. And he was letting those know that whatever you give, just know that's the amount you're going to get back in return, something like that amount. And he goes on and say, those that sow it bountifully shall reap also bountifully. Now, in verse number 7, he says, every man according as he purposed in his heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loveth a cheerful giver. Amen. He wanted the people, the saints here, that was giving in Greece, that was giving to the saints in Jerusalem, he wanted them to know, now I'm not forcing you all to give anything. I'm not pressuring you all to give anything. You all volunteer to do this. But I do want you to know that how you give it is important. Because God is not going to accept it and reward you back in return if you give it with the wrong attitude. This is what he was trying to tell the saints here in Greece. And he said, God, he don't want you to give it grudgingly. You know, you give something, you mad, I'm going to give it, but I sure wish that I hadn't given it. Man, that's my cheesesteak money. Or that's my Cheesecake Factory money. Man, that's my Whole Food grocery bill money right there. Man. He didn't want them giving it that way. Because God won't accept it and bless you in return if you give it that way. And he said, I want you to give it, I don't want you to give it because we're asking, or we're in need, rather, of necessity. Because there's a need. He said, of course, if we know there's a need and we can cheerfully give it that way, but not because, well, you're still giving it grudgingly or because of necessity and grudgingly combined. If you give it, well, I know it's a need, I'm just giving it because they need it, but I sure don't want to give it. That's still the wrong attitude. Giving it just because it's a need and you don't want to give it, that's the way he don't want you to give it, because he said you're not going to be blessed. And then he said, not grudgingly nor necessity, for God loveth a cheerful giver. A person said, what, there's a need? Oh, I'm glad to give it. How much? Can I get somebody to come get it? I can bless you right now. I got the money right here. I want to give it. Someone that's happy to give. And that's what he was saying. That's the right attitude, because he wanted them to be blessed in return. The saints in Jerusalem needed the money, but he wanted the saints in Greece that was given the money to have the right attitude so God can bless them back in return the way that he wants and to bless them. But we have to give it in the right attitude. That's the same way for us. When we give, when we bless someone, if someone or even if someone asks to borrow money from you, and we loan them the money, we should not loan the money. Well, now I'm giving you this money, but I tell you what, I sure don't want to give it to you. That's the wrong attitude. That is the wrong attitude. You better pay me back. Next time I ain't giving you nothing. That's the wrong attitude. Now, if you use that, and you know that may be a person, maybe you got a relative that keep on just, one of the ones that just begging from everybody, and you just know this person just doing whatever. Every family seems to have some of those in the bunch, at least one or two in the family, where they just bombing off. The person just bombing off of you. Now, you might tell them that because you ain't looking for nothing back anyway, but you just let them know that, hey, this is not going to keep happening. Especially if you know that person won't work, they're not trying to get a job, they just, you have that family member that, let me hold something. They don't never let nobody else hold anything, but let me hold something. And they don't have a family, they don't have kids, they don't have a wife, nor any kids, at least they're taken care of. So that person just bombing, that's different. But we're talking about somebody that we know that's in need, got a family, they're going to use it the right way. I'm not supporting your alcohol and drug habit. Now, we're not talking about those kinds. I'm not supporting no alcohol and drug habits. I told you the time that when we were in Hawaii, and we were coming out of a Walmart. That's right. There's Walmarts in Hawaii. At least in Honolulu it is. In Honolulu, they had a Walmart. And we were coming out of Walmart, And this lady was on the street corner, and my wife and I had caught the bus from our hotel room to the Walmart. And anyway, so we were going back. We were trying to catch the bus again, and she was standing on the corner, and the lady asked me for some money. And I looked at her and I said, I'll go and buy you something in the store, because when I looked at her, I knew she must be on drugs. And probably drinking alcohol too. I said, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to give you money, but I'll go in there and buy what you want. Because she said, I'm hungry. Can you give me some money to buy something to eat? And I said, I'm not going to give you money, but I'll go in there and buy something for you. Just give me things you need, and I'll go in there and buy it for you. My wife was there with me at the time too. And the lady got upset, and she said, I don't need your money then. I don't want you to buy nothing for me then. That's all right. So then I knew right away, this is not a hungry person. If we're hungry, and if I'm hungry, I want food. Doesn't matter if I buy it or you buy it, just give me food. If I'm hungry on the streets. She was hungry, she said she was hungry, but she was living on the street because she had a basket with her, you can tell. But she didn't want food, she wanted something else, and I'm pretty sure it was alcohol and or drugs. Because she refused to let me buy her food, she wanted me to give her money. But the Lord had just told me, dropped in my spirit, don't give her money. Offer to buy her food, and that's what I did. And she got mad, and she said those words and whatever. And I said, well, sister, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Well, I don't care, man, I don't care. And she said a whole lot of other stuff. But anyway, I blessed her and I left. The thing is, if we know someone is struggling with a habit, God is not telling us to, support their habits. We know someone has a drug habit and they're asking for money. Of course, we can have abundance and have money, but we don't want to give them something going to destroy them. We know drugs and alcohol, that addiction going to destroy them. So if I know that's what they're going to use it for, or I got a good indication they are, I'm not going to give it to them for that reason. I don't want to contribute to a person's destruction. I'll find somebody else. I'll help that person in another way I can that won't cause them to go and use our godly money to go and purchase something going to destroy their life. I find another way of helping them without giving them that money, because I'm not going to do it if I know they're going to go and use it the wrong way. So I always judge it by those grounds and what the Lord says to do. All right, so we sow sparingly, we reap sparingly, we sow bountifully, we reap bountifully. Every man according as purpose in his heart. We should have a purpose about when we give. So let him give not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loveth a cheerful giver. When we give it the right way. Now when we meet these requirements in verse number 7, then we get what verse number 8 says. Look at what happens. We purpose in our heart that we want to help this person, this individual, or these person, maybe the whole family. The Lord may lay on your heart, pay their rent up for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 1 month, whatever. You got the money, you got the abundance. The Lord told you to do it. Pay their car off. When you have abundance, you can't be afraid for the Lord to tell you something like that. That's why we have to have the right mindset. The Lord live in your heart to pay someone a whole car off. Maybe 10,000. But when you're rich and wealthy, what is that to you? It's money, but it's not going to stress you. And that keeps us from having that love of money mentality that I'm not giving anything. I want to keep it for me and I want more. And you go and you write that check out and you give them, well, I won't give cash. Something like that, you want to give a check. You go and write that check out and pay that person's car off. That's the kind of heart and mentality the Lord wants us to have, because when He blessed us with plenty, which is abundance, exceedingly above and beyond blessings, we have to be able to, when the Lord lays something on our heart that sounds, you've never thought about doing that before, maybe in your life, but when you get in another realm of blessings, then the Lord is going to start requiring more of that, more things of us like that. Because the Bible says, to whom much is given, much is required. And that's what He let us know in the scriptures, at least. That's what the scripture refers to us. Well, to whom much is given, much is required. We see that in the way God operates with His people and how He's operated with us throughout the time and ages. Whomever he's given much talent and gift to, he expects more out of that person. As we use those talents and gifts, even money and material things, we should be able to bless others as quickly as God blesses us. Verse number 8, when we give with the right mentality, look at what happened in verse number 8. God is able to make all grace abound towards you. If God give us all grace and make all grace abound towards us, that means all favor. That means that anything, anyone, every situation that I'm in, or any person I need on my side, I need favor with, I need something from, or I need them to do something for me, or I need a situation to work out for me, all grace abound towards you. God is able to give you favor everywhere you go with every person you meet. He's able to give you a yes in all areas that you're dealing with at that time. He's able to make people that would not ordinarily do whatever you're trying to get done. Maybe you're trying to invest in a big, let's say a big apartment building. But you need the city council to rezone that area so you can build there or whatever the situation is. And the city council have never rezoned that area to let you build on there, but all of a sudden God give you grace, the city council rezone that area and you can build that big apartment building for the city citizens. Or whoever you're building it for. I love senior complexes. Because when I see senior complexes, it helps our senior citizens, and we know it's going to be quiet, and we know it's not going to be no more cars on the street, because we don't need no more additional cars on our streets. That's just me. So if you're in another state, stay where you're at. We don't need nobody else in Minnesota. I'm just being funny. But, you know, we can do without extra cars, honestly. All right. But anyway, God will give you favor. He's able to make all grace abound towards you. Now listen to that little scenario I just gave. Buying your whole own apartment complex. Those are the mentality you want to start getting into now. Because we can really help some people.
That's right.
You would think about buying a home. How about buying the whole building? Developing a whole community. That's the elevated thinking that the Lord is taking us to and wants us to get to now. Change your thought process. Starting your own firm, your own business, starting your own, you hiring a staff of a few hundred people. You being the CEO of that corporation. Putting your vision in higher places. Projecting yourself to a higher way of thinking because God is ready to take us to plenty, plenty. So out with the old way of thinking, in with the new way of thinking. But when we go there, as we're being transitioned there, keep a giving spirit. That's going to keep us grounded. That's why I'm staying on this, because God said, drive it into the saints of God, the people. We have to stay grounded, saints. Because it can be easy, overwhelming, and you start getting the wrong, we start getting the wrong mentality and start, falling for the love of money. And then we're in trouble now because money's starting to control us. We need to control money and don't let money control us. And when we can release it by giving it to others, being able to easily give to others, we're not talking about you giving everything away. That's not what God is saying. That's not what we're saying. But being able to quickly give when there's a need. That keeps us grounded. That keeps us from letting the love of money creep in, and then we're in trouble. So that's the thing the Lord said, and that's what this text is about. He was preparing the people for giving. This is what Paul was doing because he wanted them to have the right mindset about why they're giving so God can bless them. God is able to make all grace abound towards you, that ye always having all sufficiency in all things. That means you don't lack nothing. Not only will God give us grace, able to make all grace abound towards us, but we have all sufficiency in all things. That means that we won't lack nothing. If we have all sufficiency in all things, that means every I is dotted, every T is crossed. We don't have any needs. That's the kind of God that we serve. All our needs are met. Everything we need is already taken care of. All sufficiency in all things may abound to every good work. That means we don't have to worry about nothing else. He's able to make everything abound towards us. All grace and then having all sufficiency in all things. Now look at verse number 9. As it is written, he that dispersed abroad, still getting us in the right mentality for giving, he hath given to the poor, his righteousness remaineth forever. When we give to those that are in need, they remember that. But it's going to do some other things that not only they're going to be thankful and grateful to us, and we're not looking for accolades and praise from the person we bless. We want to, of course they're going to say thank you. We all do, and that's proper to do that. But we're not looking for, I don't own you, and you don't owe me anything, and you don't have to almost shine my shoes because I did that or whatever. How people think that you holding something over their heads. No, it's none of that. You owe me nothing. And we want to make sure that we do it the right way, because those people that we bless, they're going to remember that we blessed them, and that's fine. But the other thing is, they're going to remember that the blessing had to come through us from God. And it's going to lead them to worshiping God, and we're going to get to that. We're heading that way now. As it is written, he that dispersed abroad, he that gave abroad, he hath given to the poor. He that hath given to the poor, his righteousness remaineth forever. They're going to remember our acts of kindness. They're going to remember our giving to them. And believe me, a lot of times, people will get saved, not all the time, but a lot of times people will say, what's something different about that person, come to church with us, because this person right here, they showing the love of God. They were able to give me. Now, we know they're scam artists. Now, we have to know the difference. There are some scammers, so we don't be a fool for, situations like that. But in the right venue, the right person, the right timing, and that's why we rely on the Holy Ghost to let us know, how He wants us to give, how much, whenever. That's why the Holy Spirit leads us. We'll know what to give, how much to give, and the way to give it, because the Lord is going to lead us in how to do that and when to do it. So we have the guidance of the Holy Spirit in that area. But when we do that, we're going to be blessing others, and then they're going to in turn begin to bless the Lord, and they'll remember our gifts of kindness and love in the midst of all that. Verse number 9. Now he that ministers seed to the sower, both minister bread for your food, and multiply your seed sown. Now we know God is the one that gives us. He's the one that ministers seed to the sower. That means He gives us money, seeds in the spiritual sense. He gives us material things so we can plant seeds. Seed to the sower. We can sow some seeds. We can't sow if we don't have any seeds to sow. If we don't have anything to give, we can't give. God's going to make sure we gain something to give. And when we get it, are we going to give it? That's the point we have to make sure we do. When we get something to give, we need to give. And so, He's going to give us seed to give. He ministers seeds to the sower. But not only that, God is so good, but He also gives bread. Look at what He says. Seed to the sower, He that ministers seed to the sower, both minister bread for your food. He gives you something to give, but He also gives you something to keep. Give you enough for yourself. He gives us enough to live off of and to enjoy ourselves, but He also gives us enough to sow and to give to others. To sow some seeds. We're going to have enough to cover us. We're going to have enough to feed us and our family. He's going to make sure we are covered, we are good. And in the midst of all that, He wants to make sure that we also do our part. And that's what He said. And multiply seeds, sow your seed sown, and increase the fruits of your righteousness. Now, we've got to look at all three of these parts. First of all, look at how good God is. God, He gives seed to us to sow. He blesses us with what we have so we can bless others, so we can sow these seeds. We can give, we can bless others. On top of giving us enough to bless others, He's going to make sure we have enough for ourselves, because the scripture says here, and He also both minister bread for your food. Make sure we're not just giving away everything and we're left without, because He wants us to take care of our families. He won't want us to just give everything and we don't have nothing for ourselves and family. He's not that kind of God. But look at what He does. He gives us enough, and when we get these, we get seeds, meaning we get blessings, money, monetary blessings. Now we have seeds that we can sow. And on top of that, He gives us more for food for us. Minister bread for us, so we got food for us too. We got enough to give, we got enough for ourselves. But on top of that, when we sow the seed,
seeds, although when the seeds we sowed, we still have enough for ourselves. But on top of the seed that we sowed, look at what he said. Multiply the seed sown. He multiplied your seed sown. So that means on top of us, when we gave, we still had enough left for us and our family. But we still took a portion of that and we dispersed it. We gave it to others. Whoever, whatever, we gave as the Lord led us. On top of that, he takes those same seeds that we gave, that we sowed, the money that we gave, the person we blessed, the people we blessed, the seeds that we sowed, he multiplied, so when we go back, we get a harvest from that. We gave it out, but guess what? It's going to come back to us some way. We're going to get it back. We don't get it back from the same person. That's why we don't ask the same. We don't expect the person to give it back to me. I'm not expecting that blessing to come back from that individual, but guess what? The Bible says that he'll cause men to give unto your bosom. I believe that's Luke 6:38. He'll cause men to give unto our bosom. So it'll come from somewhere else. Checks in the mail. All of a sudden, all your bills, because you know, this plentiful is going to be a blessing for all of us, and especially those of us that got huge student loans, he's just going to wipe them out. Those that got huge medical bills, he's going to wipe them out. And you're still going to have bread for yourself, and you're going to have seeds to sow and give to others. You'll be debt free. Credit score is 800 and above. We get above 750. 800 and above. And that's the way God operates. So you're still going to have seeds coming back from your seeds that were sown. Multiply those seeds sown. There's a harvest coming back. We planted seeds in the ground where fruits came up. The harvest we gave to others, but then others gave to us. Others gave to us. You know, I've told you all this if you've been here in the church a long time. This is coming up on my 20 year. Because this testimony always stuck with me because I was very young. I think I was in my teenage years. It's kind of hard for me to remember exactly my age, but I'm guessing about 18, 19, somewhere around there. But anyway, I told you that I was at church one night and the Lord told me to put my whole check in the offering. I did it. And I just signed it over, filled out the envelope, put the whole thing in. And then, that was on a Friday night. Then that Sunday, I think it was that Sunday. Was it Sunday I did it? Let me think for a minute. It's been a while. It's been definitely over 30 years. Let me see. I'm trying to remember which day it was. Yeah, it was on Friday. Yep, it was on Friday. And then on Sunday, I got to church and the Lord told somebody else in the church to give me their check. Yeah, and guess what? Their check was like twice as much as my check. I was working at Walmart at that time, and minimum wages it was $3.35. I was making $3.50 an hour. That person made a lot more than me. Their check was like double my check. So I gave my check in the offering Friday. Sunday, they signed their check and gave it to me. I was able to sign my check over, that person's check over, and put it in my bank account. I had more money than what I gave on Friday. I had twice as much. Seems crazy, don't it? And then, lo and behold, we got back to church that next Friday. That person said, you know what? The Lord blessed me with even more money I gave you, my check. So we had a cycle within a week. We all got blessed. And we all did what God said. And that was crazy, but it was amazing. And that really helped me because I was pretty young. Then I'm guessing 18, maybe 20, somewhere in that range. Or 18, somewhere between 18 and 20. It's been a long time, I don't remember for sure. But anyway, I know it's been 30 or 31, 30 plus years. Anyway, but the amazing thing, well, that was the first time God ever did something that amazing, that fast. I gave on Friday, I get a bigger check on Sunday. That person gave me their check, they get more money on the next Friday. So within a week's time, we all gained. Isn't that amazing? God is able to make all grace abound. So he multiplied the seed that I sowed. And that's why I gave you that example. I sowed a seed, he multiplied my seed and gave me a bigger harvest. Because that person gave me 2 days later, gave me a bigger check. Then that person got more money than what they gave me about 5 days later, from Sunday to Friday. So within a week's time, neither one of us lacked. It's amazing. And And that person had to have faith to do that too. Because God, just like he told me to give my whole check, he had to tell them to give their whole check too. And that person had to have faith to do that. And in that time frame, we all got blessed because he multiplied the seed sown. We didn't just get what we gave, we got more than what we had, like double. That's the kind of God. That's what he says. He'll multiply the seed sown. Now, verse number 11. Being enriched in everything, in all bountifulness. When he blessed us and we got all things that we need, bountiful is plenty. That's one of the words we have for plenty. Bountiful itself, not the nest in there. But bountiful. Bountifulness, that means having plenty as well. Being enriched in everything to all bountifulness, which causes through us thanksgiving to God. When we bless others and we have everything, first of all that we need, being enriched in everything, bountiful, that means we have access, we have enough, we have more than what we need, more than enough, not enough, but more than enough. And we're able, and we give to others and we bless them, they're going to turn, give thanksgiving unto God. For the administration of this service not only supplies the want of the saint, but is abundant also by many thanksgiving unto God. So we give thanks to God because he blessed us, and then we bless others, and they give thanks to God. And so what happens is we get a whole cycle of people that are blessing God because of our giving. We have the right attitude, the right mindset, and we're giving to God, and we're being the blessing that God in turn intended for us to be. So as Paul was telling the saints in Greece here about them giving, and he got them prepared that when they give, that they would give the right way because he wanted to keep the blessings flowing. He wanted them to be blessed in their giving by giving it the right way and not giving it because the need was there, but giving it because it was a need, but also they were happy to give to that cause. And that's the right mentality that God wants us to have, because as the Lord is preparing us for the year of plenty in 2020, he wants us to have the right attitude and the right mindset. Because as the scripture told us here in the book of Ephesians chapter number 3 and verse 20, now unto him that is able to do exceeding abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that worketh in us. See, the power that worketh in us is the Holy Ghost power. That's why we have to rely on God's Spirit to lead and guide us in the way to go and what we ought to do. God's power and his Spirit lead us into how to give and how to bless others when the Lord wants us to do it. And in turn, God takes the power of the Holy Ghost in us and he activates that power in us so we can be a use of God to gain help from others and to help others and to bless others. And in turn, we get needs met and we get our strength and we get our blessing from God as well. God has many things that he wants to do in us and through us. And we have to make ourselves available for God to use us to do those things. And that's why God is trying to tell us, saints of God, as he prepares us for the year of plenty in 2020. God wants us to have the right mindset about how to bless others so that he can keep the blessing flowing onto us. We want to understand that we need to prepare ourselves now because God is about to take us to a realm that we've never been to before. Where we're going to not only live in the overflow, but we're going to have exceedingly abundantly and above the overflow. What we've ever had before. And we want to make sure that what we do, we use it the right way. We want to be great stewards and managers of what God blesses us with. We want to be able to have God to minister to us and tell us what to use it for, when he wants us to use it. And then the blessings of God will always be with us. Because one thing we must understand, we'll never be God in our giving. No matter who and how many people we bless, we're just planting seeds, and God's going to continue to sow and multiply those seeds that we have sown. He's going to continue to bless us back in return. But we have to have the right mindset that as the Lord blesses me, I'm looking for ways to bless other folk. That's what God wants us to start preparing our minds. Start already getting things in mind that what I'm going to do to help others, we know we're going to take care of our own needs first and foremost. But once we get our needs taken care of, once we take care of our bills and all the things we need to take care of, God's going to still make sure that there's excess left over, exceeding abundantly and above, and excess left over, more than enough left over. Then we need to make sure we're starting to look around and who can I help now? Who can I help bring out? Who can I bless that appreciate the blessing and use it the right way? God will lead us through His Spirit and how He wants us to do it. But we have to make sure that we're in the right mindset, that we have the right spirit, a spirit of giving, so that we won't hoard up and just want more and more for ourselves. And we just go in and keep investing and all they just building up for ourselves, but I ain't got nothing. I'm not giving nothing to anybody else. That's the wrong mentality. God wants us to invest, and that's what we should and need to do. Invest, but also have some for others as well, because He's given us access. He's given us plentiful. He's given us plenteous. He's given us abundance. He's given us the overflow. We're going to have exceedingly abundantly above that which we even asked or thought. God's going to give us things that we hadn't even dreamed of yet. God's going to bless us in ways that we hadn't even thought of yet. But we have to be ready to receive the blessings. And I know most of us already have that kind of heart. It don't take much for us to give anyway. And so God can trust us with a lot of abundance because we're going to use it the right way. We're going to help somebody else out. We're going to give to those that are in need. We're going to be the ones that also do and be good stewards and do what God has us to do, because God is raising us up. Get ready, saints of God. God is raising us up. We're about to go into overflow. We're about to go into exceeding abundantly above blessing stage. And I know some of you haven't been able to imagine much what it feels like to get in line and don't even have to worry about what the cash register is ringing up to. Get ready to see what that feels like. To be able to go to the car dealership and whatever car you want, it doesn't matter. I just need to pick it out. The money doesn't matter. You just decide. You just tell me and give me the inventory. I'll pick it out. And the money is not a problem. Being able to call the realtors up and tell the real estate agent to take me over into Minnetonka and let me find a mansion over there. Take me over to Eden Prairie where all the sports athletes got their mansions over there on Pioneer Trail. Take me over there. I need to pick that one out. If that one's for sale, we're going to ask him out to name his price and I'll buy it from him. Now you got to get your mind set and ready because God is about to take us to a plenty. Anybody on board and ready to go up? Because when we go up, we're going to take others up with us. We're going to keep the right mindset. We're going to stay holy and stay saved because there's a lot of people in the Bible that we can point to that knew how to manage money without money managing them. David was rich, but he didn't let it get to his head. Solomon made some errors with women, but he did understand how to handle riches. Job was rich, and look what happened to him. He lost it, but then God gave him double for his trouble. So it doesn't matter. Abraham was rich and wealthy. He had so many cattle, and that's what people counted wealth within. And that gave him access to much money. And he was able to separate from Lot because they had so much they couldn't coexist together. But he knew how to manage his wealth and not let the wealth manage him. Saints of God, get ready for what God is about to do. Get ready to live in 2020 and 2020. Get ready to live in the exceeding abundantly above that which you have asked or thought of. Blessing that God is about to give to us. Anybody ready to go to the overflow? Anybody ready to go to the 2020 and 2020? Say yes!
He wants to make you whole. Just